So I told y'all earlier about how we want to train the dog to where he will hold on until I tell him not to, okay? And then once I give him that, I know you think we're playing right now. And just to give you an idea, let me see if I can get this. I'm going to try to see if I can get it reset. Oh, there. Ooh. So he's got that pillow all the way in his mouth. So their jaws are so powerful. He knows. Now I told y'all I wasn't fast, but I'm still fairly strong. I promise you, this dog is giving me everything.
Oh, he can't get out of the dog.
So I tell you, imagine that being somebody's arm or their leg. Okay? That's why we always tell everybody, so when we come on the scene, just so y'all know this, I want to tell y'all a secret, okay? Most people don't know this. So when we come on scene, I've got to give people the opportunity to give up. So get ready, I'm going to yell. So when we come on scene, the first thing I do before I let him go is, Little Rock Police Department, K-9 unit. Suspect, if you're in there, give up now before I send the dog.
I give up.
He will bite.
Okay, I give up, sir.
So, now I will tell y'all this. I did something with him that I didn't do with all my other dogs. I've left him quiet, okay? So I didn't anticipate that I was going to get Danny here because, as I'll try to describe Danny. Danny's very, very quiet and he's stealthy, okay? So that means he can sneak up real good. And then, because he is all black, at nighttime, it is very hard to see him. Normally, I have to put a special collar on him at night that has a light fixture, because when we go into a building, if we get called out and have to go into something that's been broken into, I can't hardly see him. In fact, when he's in my backyard, I can hardly see him. I can only see about the whites of his eyes. So, with that being said, I did not train him to bark on command. We used to, when we come up there and make all those announcements, we make the dog bark. But we've kind of gotten away from that because we've had some other circumstances happen where sometimes people use that information to figure out where we are, okay? So I keep them quiet, even when I'm yelling all that stuff. But we normally yell those commands about 3 times within the building. And then if we go upstairs, we have to yell them again, okay? Now, I'm going to go. So you can go. He's excited right now.
Hey, Danny.
I know this one's a little different. All right, good. Right. So y'all will hear me talk to him. There's going to be a couple things that'll kind of go on. Is you're going to hear me probably use different language. So he's really excited. So you're going to hear me use different language. You'll see me do some tone stuff with him. Hey, Nick. Oh. Hey, oh. Look at this. We're going to keep his brain moving. So what he wants to do is he wants to play. This isn't anything bad. This is him just going, man, I know we're in here to have fun. Hey, focus. So a lot of the stuff we do, again, I told you everything's about a game. So right now I'm giving him his bite pillow, right? So we play a game of tug of war with this. He'll hunch. That's what you're seeing right now. Oh, and I'll let him win. Because we want to build his confidence of, oh, buddy, you got it. Yeah, come back here. Come on. Oh, give me that tongue. Give me that tongue. So one thing we will do is I use tone. So when you're talking about a dog, we're going to use a lot of tone. I'm not going to yell at him with a very loud corrective no. Now you're getting excited. Oh, you're not going to, don't you get in trouble now. Don't you get in trouble. But, thank you. But when he does right, I will reward it with a louder pitch. So my voice will change. I will be like, oh, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Because that translates to him. Now, I will tell y'all, every year we have to take a test. I know, right? sir. There he goes. He's sniffing right now. He's sniffing. There's a box here. He's putting his nose in. His tail's wagging, and he is now sitting. And what he's doing is he's staring right at that box. The reason why, that's what's called his trained stare. Oh, that's right, buddy. There you go. So, when he gets it right, we reward him. He gets to get his toy. And the reason that's a reward is because now we play again. Oh, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Now, right now, he just moved his head, and he's shoving it in between all these chairs. And he's right. It's right there. It is. He's got his. I wish I should have turned this better. But he is shoving his nose into the seat of the chair. So, yes, good boy. And so he gets his toy. Now, unfortunately, I don't know how I'm going to set this up. I've actually got some out there in the audience. There's a chair out there in the audience, a row, where I've hidden it. So I'm going to actually have to ask somebody to move for a second, just so they don't get worried. Just move up just a couple if you could. Yeah, you just... You got here before I This is a kind of a different setup, so y'all can have an understanding. I know it's going to be hard to kind of, I'm going to move around, and you're probably hearing me. But with all of these different rows, it poses a different challenge. And as we've been out here, that odor has been, we like to call it cooking. That's what we say, the odor has been cooking. And that means the odor is pushing out, okay? If temperatures are high, an odor will rise. If it's cold, it stays a little bit lower. It takes it longer to rise, okay? I'll give y'all a hint. So, for instance, has anybody ever smelled dog poop? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Right? And you know if it's close, right? Or if you stepped in it, right? Because you smell it on your shoe, especially if it's during the summertime. Well, think of it that way. This building is got a pretty good temperature, but that odor has been moving all around this auditorium. In fact, this entire section, that odor, especially based off of how this building is laid out, has been moving up towards this stage. Okay? Odor travels least resistance unless we have an open vacuum, but this becomes our vacuum where the odor is going to pull to. So I'm going to end up coming around and starting at the top and coming down, and he's going to figure out which row those narcotics are hidden in, okay? Because I hid them under a seat. Sound fun?
Uh-oh.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I want y'all to be thinking of some questions when I bring him over there to do that, okay? So that way you don't have the opportunity. When I get done with him, I'm going to bring him back on the stage.
Watch out, because if he bites me.
They're not going to bite you unless you stick your hand in. You're in the very center.
I'm going to see. I'm actually going to use this as kind of training for him. Can he find from this far out without me having to put it on? It's kind of a test of whether or not he can start figuring out this puzzle. Because that's what this is for him. It's a puzzle that gets him a toy, so that's why it's fun for him, okay? So we're just going to see if he will off of this. So right now he's sniffing, he's trying on low, he's walking, moving around. Now I'm just letting him do the work. Now what y'all, he's figured it out. Now y'all can see, he's not trying to get to any of you guys. He knows his job. He's already still sitting. Now he's really close. Now y'all can't see, but his breathing is changing. So it's getting really fast. He's having to solve the problem. Remember, the odor's moved around. And unfortunately, it'll gather on the wall. And every so often, oh, I know that. So now this is where we train and we help each other. So because, oh, never mind. No, I'm not going to help him. Well, he's checking himself. So what we do sometimes, unfortunately, they'll bracket. And so he is bracketing right now. I'm just trying to stay out of his way. Unfortunately, I'm on the right row. So he is checking these seams right now. There you go. So he is locked up right here, and he's staring right at it. So it is right between these two seams. He's got his nose right on it. Now here's where it becomes hard for the handler. I have to not let him see where this toy comes from, and he's kind of sneaky. I guide him to an area. So when he's on leash, yes. But we also work on other signals. I actually work on some hand signals with him when we were out in the field. So if we were outside out here and I was looking for, again, like I said, some type of evidence or something that got left, or even for that matter, if we get into woods, I don't keep him on a leash because my leash gets stuck in the trees, on all kinds of messes, and I get tied up. All right, I tried it one time, it did not work so well. But I will guide him through there, but I have to stay out of his way so he can find what he needs to find. Because think of it this way: if the odor is kind of like, think of like a big puffy, I don't know what, floating around. If I walk through it, I move it around him. So I want him to always go first. I might start him in a spot, but he does the work, and then I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't get out of control. Because if I let him, he was imported. That means he came from overseas. He's actually from Europe, a small country out of there. He came to us to Sherwood. He got mailed to Sherwood, Arkansas. I actually got mailed to Houston, Texas, and then went and picked him up down there. Got to Sherwood. He then, from that point, got some training, and then I picked him up late January, early February, and then that's when we started kind of trying to go through the training process with him. So yeah, he is a German Shepherd, though. Now, no, hey, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, I can't hide it. All right, that's what it is. For all you adults in here, y'all know.
How much does it cost?
So Danny is $14,000.
Whoa! Ooh, that's
Now, understand that's a lot of other things going on, okay? So for him, that's the training, that's all these other things, but y'all understand it's a big investment. That's why, for instance, to become somebody that gets to have a dog, there's a big process you have to go through, okay? There's testing. You have to be able to handle the dog. You've got to be able to do... I have to be able to go anywhere I put him, okay? So earlier when I talked about like going in sewers, sometimes we have to climb through windows with broken glass. We got to go in some nasty stuff. If the person's not willing to go where they're putting the dog, we've got a problem. So we have to clear attics. We have to sometimes go into people's houses. And if we find that person, I have to still be able, I am legally responsible, as silly as this may sound, I'm legally responsible for making sure that someone he bites, so if we do go in and we have an unsafe situation and I have to put him in to apprehend a criminal, okay? I'm still responsible for the safety of that criminal. I have to make sure that that criminal does not get hurt any worse than it should. That's why our training is so... He just wants to get over that suit real bad. You're not going to get it, though. No, you're not. You keep going. So we're responsible for that. But yeah, he's $14,000 altogether for the training, which is, you know, you go to several weeks of training, you get him, all the other stuff that goes with. Our cars are different. Our cars are modified in order to house him in the back seat. So I have no back seats in my car. There's an insert. So what that means is there's a bunch of metal in there that makes a dog kennel. Okay? It's not just something we've thrown in there to pop up. It's actually drilled into the car frame itself. So he's got his own big child restraint seat in the back, more or less. Yes, somebody else higher than me. I can say that because actually, so this is the hard part. So again, this is my fourth dog. I have had one dog that has died during a deployment. Okay, after finding someone, everything else, and all this other mess, we've had that circumstance. In the state of Arkansas, dogs are considered property. So I'm going to tell you right now, I will tell you he's an officer, but the reality is, no, he's not. He's not considered that way by any legal means, okay? The courts don't. There's no statute that has that set up. There is an elevated charge if somebody was to try to hurt him, and I can prove that, being whether it's the handler or someone else, a criminal, okay? There is an elevated charge, but unfortunately, it's not going to be considered something like that. No, it won't be. If somebody was to hurt me, it's a higher charge. So I don't really, he doesn't rank higher than I do. Okay, just to me he does, but not to anybody else.